Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Real Life Excel. And if you're new, welcome for the first time, especially with this video series that I want to create. I want to create a series of how to ever use Excel. If this is your first time ever opening a spreadsheet, you're like, what the heck is this? Whoever uses this, how can some people use this? Don't worry, this is what the series is about. So hopefully I can answer any questions for you guys along the road, just with a couple of videos and help you guys get on your journey to Excel. So hopefully this video would just show you how to use Excel, use it to enter data, create basic formulas or simple charts to make anything more easier in your life. So I guess going back to the basics, like what is Excel? So Excel is basically a spreadsheet program that Microsoft created. So it's like it's grouped in with like Word, PowerPoint, what's the other one? Access, those kind of programs. So a lot of Windows computers get those and a lot of Mac computers get those. And it's basically used just for organizing data, performing calculations, or creating charts. Basically doing a lot of data for you that would be pretty difficult to do on your own. So here you can see we have our basic spreadsheet. So if I just click on the Excel option within your Windows computer, this is the first thing that will pop up. It'll pop up Book 1, Excel, and then you'll just see this giant spreadsheet of just columns and rows. And you can see each column has a name, or I guess a letter, and then each row has a number, identifying which cell. So if I click on this cell right here, let me zoom into that. This is a cell, so that way when you click on a cell you can identify where you are at within a spreadsheet, which is pretty nifty. Then here we see a bunch of tabs that we can use, and we're currently at the Home tab as it's highlighted here, and we have a lot of options, and each of these options are spread up into different categories, like clipboard if you want to copy and paste stuff, fonts for some of the numbers or text that you can add in Excel, aligning things, different formats, and so forth. So pretty helpful. So now we can just get on typing into a cell. So I can use my mouse and left click on any cell, and I can also hold it and drag it down. I can select multiple cells, but let's just start with cell B2. So I can honestly just type whatever. I can type in 100, click enter, and then you can see that that cell has now been filled in with 100, and when I clicked enter, it goes down to the next cell below it, so moved from B2 to B3. I can also type in text, so I can type in hello, and here we can see we have text right here, which is pretty nifty, so you can do both numbers and letters. And going back to this font tab that I mentioned from or I guess it's font section within the Home tab, I can also change the type of font. Can change it to Algerian, Arial Black, but Excel likes it at Calibri. I can also change the size of this by just clicking this little A with a little arrow, up arrow. And I can also bring it down to make it smaller, not too small, so that way we can see. You can also highlight. So if you see this little paint bucket with a little yellow right here, this will highlight the entire cell. And then if I click this drop down, I can also just change it to other colors, and you can see we have a big variety of colors, but I'm just going to go back to no fill just to show where it was before. I can also change the font color, so instead of changing the color of the cell, so the background kind of, I can change the font color, and now it's at 100. The number 100 is now red. I can't talk today, as always, but we can do that same here with the hello. So you can change the format for both the text and the number that you type in, which is pretty helpful if you want to analyze different or highlight different numbers or amounts, whatever it may be. And I keep thinking there we go. So I think Excel is like a giant calculator. I think Excel is probably one of the most versatile and most powerful calculators there are, because I can type into any cell in here and just create a different calculation or a different formula. And we can do that pretty simply right now. So let me delete these. I'll just click the delete key on the keyboard. And if I click equals, this equals is a very powerful tool. This basically is telling Excel, I want you to do something for me. I want you to calculate something. I want you to do a certain function that will make my life easier, either analyzing data, creating charts, inputting data, whatever the case may be. This equal signs is super powerful. So right now, I just want to do a simple calculation. So if I just want to do equal signs 2, and then I do a shift and then the equal signs to get a plus. So I'll do the plus and then 2. So a simple 2 plus 2 calculation. Excel will recognize that and say, okay, you are currently trying to calculate 2 numbers based on what you just typed in. Then if I click enter, now we have 4. Pretty nifty. And if I just want to change this, I can click up here into the cell, or I guess this giant taskbar, and I can change this number. Change it to 3, and I'll go to 5. If I go back, I can change it to 4, and so forth. So pretty simple stuff that you can do on Excel to just start using it, honestly. I can also do subtraction. So if I want to do 3 minus 2, I can do that. And I'll do a 1. If I do equals 3 times 2, you can get 6 again. Currently it's doing multiplication. And then if I do equals 2 divided by, so this dash, divided by 2, you'll get 1. So Excel understands if you type it in correctly, because it's very format specific, but it will understand what you're trying to calculate based on what you're trying to type in. So pretty helpful. Not only that, but Excel can also do calculations from multiple cells. So right now I'm just doing calculations within one cell. So remember, in cell B2, I am currently calculating 4 plus 2 within this cell. But let's just say I have the number 4 in here. So in cell D2, I have 4. Then in D3, I have 2. And right now I want to add these 2 numbers. How can I add these 2 numbers? Well, we can do our handy dandy equal signs. And right now Excel is letting us to select a cell that we want to, I guess, select for lack of a better term. So we can select D2. And right now Excel is highlighting the cell and it's saying, okay, you are selecting this cell to analyze, to use as a function, to do a calculation, whatever the case may be. What else do you want it to do? And right now I could just leave the cell as equals D2, so highlighting the cell, and if I click enter, it'll just pop up that same amount, but it's linked to this cell. So let me go back and let's try to do our calculation. So I want to add that 4, and then plus, and then selecting this cell 2. So now it'll select D3. Excel's analyzing D3. And then if I click enter, it'll do 6. It'll do the calculation. So Excel understands that cell D2 has a number and D3 has a number. And if I want to add these 2 cells, I can, as Excel can recognize these 2. So pretty nifty if you want to do calculations from different cells. So if I want to do 10, 5, 8, 9, I could do that. So I could do equals, select the cell, plus, select the cell, plus, select the cell, plus, select the cell. And I'll say 32 automatically. And it's the same thing with subtraction. So if I want to subtract minus, let's do minus this one, we'll get 4 right here. So pretty nifty. It's a big calculus. Can also do this with multiplication. So in this example right here, I have D2 plus D3. If I want to do times, it'll do 8. If I want to do divided, it'll do 2. So very, very helpful if you want to do some simple calculations within Excel. Obviously, most people might want to use a calculator, but if you have a lot of calculations that you want to get done within a spreadsheet, this is the way to do it, as it's just one giant calculator that can analyze all that. So hopefully this video was a little bit helpful on your journey to learning Excel, getting used to it, hopefully using it in your personal life or professional life. And let me know if you have any questions or comments. Thanks, guys.